Omelet? Yeah, that ain't a problem. I'll show you how to make an omelet. Somebody the other day asked me if I knew how to make an omelet. I said, of course I know how to make an omelet. It's really easy. And they said, well, they've been trying for a long time and he kept failing at it. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll do a show on omelets. You watch that, you're going to learn how to make an omelet. Folks, let me explain. A lot of my cooking came from my childhood, okay? That's when I learned. I started cooking when I was a little kid, all right? Now, one of the things that I learned early on was eggs. Mother made eggs everything for us. We would get this beautiful French scrambled egg, which is light, fluffy little curds. We would also get omelets. We would get eggs over easy. A lot of wonderful stuff. Mom was really good with eggs. She learned how to do omelets when she was living in France. And I think that's really where she kind of perfected getting really good with eggs. She and my father lived in France post-war, after the Second World War, and he was taking care of service members. He was a dentist and with the Air Force. So anyway, Mom had a lot of friends in France and they taught her lots of different French dishes and the way it's just done in the home in France. And so what I'm going to teach you today is the exact same way I learned how to make omelets. And it's not that difficult. This is going to be a simple 2-egg omelet. I'm going to put cheese in this one. If you want to make your omelet with vegetables in it, for instance, you could do onions, bell peppers, maybe some diced ham. Oh, what do we call that? Isn't that the Denver omelet? I don't remember for sure, but I know you can do a lot of things with omelets. Today I'm going to put cheese in mine. It's going to be American cheese. I like American cheese in my omelet better than cheddar or other kinds. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too Americanized. Folks, this is a simple omelet. Let me show you how it's made. Let's get in the kitchen. Don't forget to check the description down below after the video because you're going to find the links that you're looking for right there. Now let's get in the kitchen. Let's make an omelet. Come on. This is about the omelet, and I'm going to give you a full Omelet 101 lecture here. This is very simple. Now, because this is not enough material for me to make the normal 2 videos that I make, I'm making a single video, and it's going to be a little more in-depth than you normally would see if you watch my recipe videos. So, get ready for it. Folks, this is the omelet, and I want to explain a few things. Number one, we are going to make a 2-egg omelet. And I have a few other ingredients. I want a cheese omelet, so I've got some cheese here. Plain American cheese is honestly what I prefer in my omelet, not cheddar, nothing else. This tastes really good with egg for some reason. Also, I have some heavy cream here. Heavy cream, you don't need much of it, about 2 tablespoons. And of course, you see this is a 2-egg omelet. A pinch of salt and a tablespoon of butter, and that is your omelet ingredients. That's all there is to it. But what do you do with the ingredients? First of all, we need to crack our eggs into a bowl to beat them. You're going to need a whisk, all right? And if you've ever heard you don't beat eggs for an omelet, well, the method I'm going to teach you, yes, we do. The next thing is which pan to use. I've got a 10-inch pan here, and I've got an 8-inch pan here. Both of them will make a good omelet. This one will make a darker colored omelet than this pan. If they are heated to exactly the same temperature, both pans, and you make an omelet, identical omelets, one in each pan, the omelet that comes out of this one will be a little bit darker, and that's because the fluid, when it's in this, is deeper than it is in this one. Spreads out more, cooks more of it at once. So it cooks a faster omelet in this pan, not quite as thick. So you get that lighter yellow color. Off of this one, you're going to get a much darker brown color. Now me, I love a brown omelet. So I normally am going to go for this pan. However, oops, sorry about that. However, I don't want this omelet to be the way I normally like them, but the way folks normally like to eat their omelets. So I'm going to use this one. And this pan's been beat to pieces, folks, but it still produces good food. And if you'll notice, none of my pans are non-stick. You just don't need it. All you have to do is cook the right way. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to heat this pan over medium heat. Now, that was the other thing, is I want to discuss the other thing about what makes an omelet light or dark. The temperature. A lot of people are going to say cook it over a medium-high heat. You can do that. It cooks it fast. However, it'll also cook it a little darker. If you cook it over medium heat, it's going to slow that cooking down. It's going to dry just a little bit more, not much, and you don't get quite as dark of an outside on it. I have a tendency to overcook them before I fold them, so sometimes mine come out wonky, weird shaped. So don't be surprised if you see that on this one. Let's get on with this. We're going to make this omelet. This ain't too hard. Here's our cracked eggs. Now, here's the thing. I learned this from Mom, all right? Mom learned it while she was living in France. Normally, you don't put salt in your eggs until you're finished cooking because it makes them weep, okay? Like if you're making scrambled eggs. But for omelets, you go ahead and salt them when you're mixing them, okay? So just a pinch of salt, doesn't take much. Cream, right down in here. Again, does not take much. About 1 to 2 tablespoons. Beat it. Here's the thing, when you are whisking, so you'll know, you don't go in a circle, you just go from side to side. You're going to catch more liquid. Now, here's the thing, fluffy omelet or flat omelet, depends on how much you beat it. If I beat this more, I get a fluffier omelet. That's how that works, okay? A little bit fluffier right there. Pan needs to be heated, so I start it on a medium temperature. I'm going to heat the pan at that temperature. Normally when I'm heating a pan, what I teach people is to look for Leidenfrost effect because you're looking to sear something. In this case, it's not the case. I want to heat the pan until water sizzles easily. So if I put a drop of water on there now, boom, water sits there and looks at me, okay? So it's not sizzling, it's not doing anything, and that's because it's not hot enough. I want it to just sizzle. When it starts to sizzle, butter goes in. When the butter's melted, egg goes in, and that's as simple as it is. A little water. Okay, it's sizzling off, and it's taking a little bit of time to do it. That's the right temperature right there. So, butter goes in the pan. My cheese, we'll simply tear it in half. There we go. Now something I want to do is to make sure I run the butter onto the edges of the pan because I want to make sure there's fat to lubricate that. When it comes to cooking in a pan that is non-stick, just a plain pan like this, non-stick coatings aren't needed. All you need is good cooking technique. A, heat the pan first. B, use some suitable lubricant, some kind of fat. There we go. Pour our egg right in there. We'll give the egg a little time to cook. That's all there is to it. Now here's the thing. In a little bit, that egg is going to break loose from the bottom of that pan all by itself. I don't have to do anything to help it. Now, occasionally I want to take some of my egg and run it around those edges. That way it gets up under the omelet. Helps that to cook a little bit faster. My omelet is torn right in the middle just a little bit. I'm going to try to make the best of it. As I mentioned, I normally use that other pan right there. Okay, a little cheese on my omelet, please. My little torn spot. What we call making the best of it. Okay, there we go. As I mentioned before, I normally do my omelets in the smaller pan. I get a lot more of this dark brown color, which I really like on mine, but for a lot of folks, that isn't the preference. Now, what I do at this point, I'm giving it enough time for that cheese to melt, for the remaining egg on the inside to finish its cook just from the heat, and then once it hits the plate, it is ready to eat. If you'll notice, it lifted just a little bit. We have a nice fluffy quality to it. One omelet ready to go. You know, a little bit of fruit with this and it's perfect. Let's do that. Omelets, they're not too tough, really. Man. As I said, normally the omelets I cook are a bit darker brown. This is okay. This is normally what you would get in a restaurant right here. It's absolutely gorgeous. Okay. Whether they're for breakfast or lunch, dinner, omelets are great. You need to try them. And it's not hard to make. As you've just seen, it was played out right in front of you. Easy to do an omelet. Just give it a shot. Thank you very much for watching also. And if you would, take a look, description below. You're going to get links. Link to that recipe, links to Texas Cooking Today, to my website, which is where S.A.Trotter Arts is, and S.A.Trotter Arts produces Texas Cooking Today. So that's that. If you would, please take a look at that and leave some comments, a thumbs up. I always appreciate it. And folks, if you have any requests, well, you know where to type it out. Thank you very much and enjoy. All right. I love omelets.